Hey y'all, it's Addy Ford, your host of the Cowgirl Closet podcast, and welcome back to another episode. This week on the Cowgirl Closet, we sit down with Western fashion and outdoor lifestyle creator Em Gleason, better known as the Camo Cowgirl. The Cowgirl Closet is a Rolled by Branch production brought to you in part by Mule Alley. Legendary brands and trailblazing trends. Find your style on Mule Alley in the Stockyards. Lastly, I want to give a huge thank you to our friends at AB Lino in downtown Fort Worth who help everyone wear their story, and Fort Worth Camera for helping us solve all of our lighting needs. Welcome to the Cowgirl Closet podcast. I'm so excited to have you today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, we're obviously so excited. So for the people who are watching who might not know, about you and what you do, can you tell them that, and also maybe touch on how you built your Camo Cowgirl brand?
Absolutely. So I am a Western fashion and outdoor lifestyle content creator. And how I got into it, I just feel like I jumped into it. It's not something that I ever thought I would get into.
Yeah.
I just kind of fell into it. Mm-hmm. But I definitely think COVID was a big factor. Obviously, we were all kind of like furloughed at home. I know I was furloughed from my medical field job at the time. And so we were all on our phones. And I think that allowed us to really tap into creativity. At least for me, that's how I feel like I started, is spending time on my phone and scrolling, seeing all these different creative ideas.
Well, during COVID, there really wasn't anything else to do.
Right, absolutely. So it's like, okay, what can we do to kind of keep ourselves from spiraling and going crazy locked inside the house? Yeah. And so I definitely feel like that's where I started. That's where I kind of got the bug for Western fashion in particular. I've grown up in the outdoor lifestyle, so that's always kind of been a part of me, but definitely for Western fashion.
Yeah, I had no idea that you were in the medical field before you did all this, so that's really cool. Was that a hard transition for you?
I wouldn't say hard. It was definitely different, going from something like the medical field into marketing in particular. Obviously, those are two different things. Yeah. But it was a good transition. It's something that I found out that I was passionate about. So in that regard, it was easy.
Yeah. So you juggle modeling, content creation, and social media management. Which came first, and how did the rest follow?
I definitely think modeling is how I kind of got started. I did a little bit of modeling at the end of my college career.
Wait, on that note, has it always been Western fashion modeling, or?
No. So it was really more lifestyle modeling, I would say. And I started that at the end of college, really enjoyed it. And then once I graduated and kind of moved to the DFW area, that's where I really fell in love with Western fashion and started picking up more Western content photo shoots.
So Em is a Texas Tech girl as well.
Yes, Reckham.
This is completely off script, off of everything. But for game days, did you tie in Western fashion to your outfits or no?
I did. And I so I'm not from Texas, but I moved to Texas when I went to Texas Tech. Mm-hmm. And so that was a big part of what has influenced Western fashion. Everyone's in their cowboy boots and their cowboy hats. I was like, oh, I really like this. And so that's where I started to incorporate the boots, the hats, and kind of more the fashion.
Cool. So you have attended WESA, market 7 times. We were there this year too.
Yes. Awesome.
You went this year?
Yeah. I did.
Okay, perfect. What stood out to you this year whenever you were there?
I definitely think I'm seeing more. I think we're all familiar with the elevated Western kind of earlier in the year, there was the trend going around what to wear to a Western wedding, the Western elegance trend. And that's something I feel like I started to see at WESA this year, is more of an elevated Western fashion look, and that's really what I'm gravitating towards now. Mm-hmm. So it was really cool to see that at WESA as well.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. My first time ever going to WESA, I never really knew that it was kind of like a fashion staple for the DFW area, but I loved just seeing what everybody came up with to wear and everything.
Yes, definitely.
On that note, the NFR, you've been a couple times.
Yes.
It's the biggest Western fashion, event ever.
Yep.
So last year you posted about the NFR community coming together. What do those events mean to you?
I think the NFR is just so cool because, you have everyone from all over the country and even people from all over the world that are in one place, and we're all there to watch the rodeo and bond with the Western fashion. I know people have said that it's like the Super Bowl for NFR.
It definitely is. I'm
Western
so
fashion. Yes. So it's just so cool to see the people that you've built connections with that live all over the country, and we're all together in one place to celebrate rodeo and wear our Western fashion looks. So I definitely love that aspect and camaraderie of it.
Are you going this year?
I'm not sure yet. I'm still trying to figure out and kind of pull the trigger on it.
Yeah.
It's right in the middle of hunting season. And so sometimes that dictates whether or not I make it to NFR one year over the other. So we'll see, hopefully.
Well, regardless, I'm going to have to text you because I need help planning my outfit.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So how do you define the Camo Cowgirl look? What makes it like uniquely who you are?
Definitely. So there's kind of two sides of me, right? There's the Western fashion side, and then there's the hunting, fishing side.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to marry kind of those two sides of me into my look. And so obviously I'm in a lot of camo all the time because of the hunting, and that just feels very natural to me. I've said it to my husband a lot that I just feel so comfortable in camo and in hunting gear just because half the year I feel like that's what I'm in all the time. And then the Western fashion side of it too. I'm more comfortable in boots and cowboy hat and all of that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool. So when you're outdoors, how do you balance fashion with like functionality? Yeah. Functionality. So, and when you're outdoors, how do you balance fashion and I can't say it. Functionality.
It's a hard word.
One more time. Yeah, it is a hard word.
Yep.
So, and whenever you're outdoors, how do you balance fashion and functionality? I can't do it. Functionality.
There you go.
Last time I got
it. You got it.
So, whenever you're outdoors, how do you balance fashion and functionality?
Functionality is a big part of hunting, with apparel. You have to be able to not be making a lot of noise. You have to be comfortable because the worst thing ever is sitting in a deer stand, with tight clothing or baggy clothing. That's uncomfortable to be sitting in that for 2 hours. So functionality is obviously a huge aspect of it. I would say fashion, not necessarily as much, just because the animals don't care what you look like. But again, tying into the functionality aspect, I guess part of the fashion side is you want your clothes to be able to fit you properly, which is sometimes harder for women to find in the outdoor apparel market. A lot of times, I know me personally, I've had to wear my dad's old baggy shirt or my husband's old baggy pants.
Yeah.
And that's just, again, it's not fun to be sitting in the stand for 2 hours with your clothes hanging off you, getting in the way of trying to pull the trigger or whatever.
Yeah.
So definitely being able to wear something that's comfortable and made for women specifically is a huge aspect of it.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
So let's touch on your NTFR article. In your piece, you wrote about being a woman in the outdoor industry. What motivated you to tell that story?
I wanted to share it so that I could bring awareness just to some of the experiences that women go through in the industry, and then also share a little bit of my own experiences. I think that there's a lot of stigma and maybe some prejudice within the industry, and 100%. So I really wanted to be able to share that with my audience and just give a little bit of a different perspective.
Yeah. I will say, whenever I read it, because you wrote the whole thing, right?
Yes.
I think you're an amazing writer.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, it was great.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So what's a moment where you felt the weight of those stereotypes firsthand?
I definitely, I've had male family members or friends, give me a razz. It's all in good fun for the most part, but they've given me a razz on if I've worn makeup out to the stand, or just if I, looking a little too put together or something like that, or I, maybe won't be able to field dress a deer on my own, just different things like that. It's always in good fun, but I think that being able to show them like, I can do this just like you can do it, or, who cares if I wear makeup to the stand or if my hair looks a little bit nicer,
Well, I've always kind of said, look good, do good, feel good.
Sure. Absolutely.
And I think that plays a huge role in whatever you do in your life.
Absolutely. You know? And I definitely think, there's some times where I've worked a full day and I just have makeup on from, working a job during the day. And I'm not going to take this off to go to the deer stand. I'm just heading out to the deer stand. So it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah. So how has being connected with other female hunters and anglers changed your experience?
It's definitely, I've met some of the most amazing down-to-earth women through the outdoor industry and the lifestyle. There will always be the few in any industry that maybe aren't doing it for the right reasons or whatever it may be. But for the most part, I've met some incredible, strong, authentic, just down-to-earth women in the industry.
Yeah. Have you grown to have long-term connections with these girls? A best friend, has maybe a best friend come out of it?
Absolutely. I've definitely, and even just recently I had someone in the area who we noticed we were both at a hunting trade show together, and she reached out to me and we've hung out since then. We've bonded. We were texting this last weekend because it was opening archery weekend.
Yeah.
And she bow hunts as well. So we're texting each other how'd you do this morning? Did you see your target buck come in? And so just things like that. It's been so cool to meet women in particular through the outdoor industry and just bond with them and relate to them.
Yeah, that's awesome. That really is. What do you want younger girls to see and take away when they see you in this place? Absolutely.
I would say for the most part, just to feel comfortable within the industry. It's a male-dominated industry, but it doesn't have to be. There's a space for women within the industry as well. So just to feel confident in that.
Sorry, I moved this. Recently, you encouraged people to contact their senators about a land proposal. Yes. Why is this issue so close to your heart, and can you touch on it?
Absolutely. And so recently with that issue, we were successful in it. They were proposing to sell off millions of acres of public land that were going to be developed into neighborhoods, different things like that. And so luckily it didn't go through, it didn't get passed because our industry we all came together and we were so loud on the issue. Oh. And so we were successful in that. But I'm passionate about it because we as Americans have the right to enjoy that public land, and it's also habitats for animals and conservation. So it's something that I want to see prosper for my kids in many years to come.
Yeah. So you often talk about, is that conservation?
Yes. Yep.
My bad.
No, you're good.
You often talk about conservation and ethical.
Yeah, you're good.
You often talk about conservation and ethical practices. Why do those go hand in hand with your outdoor lifestyle?
Conservation is the heart, I feel, of hunting. A huge part of hunting is for conservation purposes. And obviously, I definitely advocate for ethical hunting. That is a huge and important part of harvesting an animal. Mm-hmm. And so with conservation, it's managing the populations of animals, and you don't want those things to be overgrown because then that leads to many other problems. And so hunting is a huge part of keeping populations of animals in check so that all of the ecosystems can thrive and prosper.
Yeah. I don't know if we've touched on this or if I even asked this, but have you just always had a love and a passion for outdoors, or did that grow with you as you grew older?
I've definitely always been passionate about the outdoors. I grew up fishing and shooting guns with my mom's side of the family. They're farmers, and so we did a lot of fun outdoor stuff. And then I really got into hunting in high school with my dad. Mm-hmm. And so that has always been a passion of mine, and just enjoying God's creation and being one with nature.
100%. So let's go back to your social media. How do you balance being a fun content creator with using your platform for real change?
It's definitely is a balance, and I do like to share both sides. I don't want to just share one side or the other, because I think it's important to showcase the fun side and the creative side because I'm passionate about that, but it's also a space to educate and share the more serious side, like with the land proposal. I definitely want to educate and advocate and be a resource for people on that side of the coin as well.
Yeah. I mean, you've been educating me just while we've been sitting here talking. So it's definitely working.
Love it.
So we talked about fashion earlier, but I want to circle back to that.
Yes.
How do you see the Western fashion industry responding to outdoors women like you?
I think that the Western industry and the outdoor industry, I think there's a lot of crossover between the two. And I think that's also part of why my audience resonates with me, is because I have some from both sides. And so I definitely do think that those two are similar and there is crossover between the two. And so I think that one side responds well to the other side.
Yeah. You've mentioned frustrations with fit and availability in women's outdoor apparel.
Yes.
Have you seen progress in that?
There's definitely been progress. I would love to see more progress, but we've come a long way, especially in the last decade.
Yeah. And
I think that there's more women's apparel becoming more readily available. It's just now the affordability of that. It's
100%.
It's
anything
definitely
like for hunting or anything like that, it's so expensive.
Yes.
Regardless. And I have a friend who, she's hilarious. She used to hate like the country life, and now she is huge into hunting. And she spoke to me about that the other day too, because I mean, she went from having nothing to having to have all these things. And she even said it was difficult to find, because she's tiny. She was like, it's difficult to find things that, fit me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I can definitely agree on that. Yep. If you had to pick 3 must-have pieces in your closet right now that say Camo Cowgirl, what are they?
I would say, definitely camo, right?
Well, duh.
Definitely camo. Really any type of camo I would include. Cowboy boots. Mm-hmm. I have lots of cowboy boots that are just kind of a staple. Yep. And then maybe like some fun vintage like jackets.
Okay, I'm a big jacket girl too.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So whenever you say yes, of course, camo is like you.
Right.
But do you take that and like dress it up at all?
Oh, yeah.
If you're like dressing up, do you try to dress up your camo? Like if you're, say, going out or going to an event, not just like in the field hunting?
Yes, I did a really fun photo shoot. I think it was last year, the year before, where the concept that I had in mind for like what embodies the Camo Cowgirl is like a dressed up camo. And so I wore like a camo skirt and top, and I had like a fur jacket over it with some boots and a cowboy hat and some turquoise. And
I think that is so fun.
Yes, it was. It was a lot of fun. And I love that camo is kind of having her moment right now and becoming like mainstream.
Yeah, that's kind of why I asked that question, because I know that camo is so in right now.
Right. I love it.
I'm excited because I like camo.
I know. It's fun to see.
Is there one trend you secretly love but think most people would be surprised to see you wear?
Ooh. I'm going to have to think about that. I'm not sure about one trend in particular, but obviously it's easy to see me in like the camo and maybe a little bit more of the masculine type apparel. So I would say stepping out and like maybe wearing something like this that's a little more feminine and elevated. I think people are really used to seeing me in the pants and the camo shirts. But it's really fun to dress up and be girly sometimes and put on a pretty dress and turquoise.
Yeah.
You're going to really like the new Fort Worth Stockyards app. It's everything you need right at your fingertips. See what's happening in real time, which means you'll never miss another cattle drive, happy hour, sidewalk sale, or your favorite band again. You can also use the app to buy show tickets, pay for parking, reserve a table, and even book a room. So saddle up, y'all. It's free, it's fun, it's the Stockyards. Download the app today at the Apple Store or Google Play.
So, while we are still on this conversation about, fashion and your style, I pulled this picture from your Instagram. It looks like you did a shoot in September. It's this one.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about it and like touch base about, this photo shoot that you had?
Yeah, absolutely. So that I had a conversation with the photographer beforehand. She was asking me like, what's your vision for this? And so my vision, I straight up told her, I was like, I want this to be like hayfield chic. So like something that you'd like maybe see in a Vogue magazine.
Yeah.
So like country Vogue, but like elevated. So I was like, I want to do like business Western, but in a hayfield. It just felt.
I think you nailed it.
She did a great job too with the direction. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Was this for anything specifically, or just for like you and your social media?
Just for creative juices. I kind of had the thought pop into my head, and she's also trying to grow her photography business. So I was like, hey, what do you think about this? She was like, I love it. Let's do it.
I love, was this here in Texas?
Yes. Yeah.
I love it. And I love that jacket too. Is that like a blazer?
Yes. It's actually a men's blazer. So it's a little bit oversized, but I was like, I'm going to wear a dress with this so that it doesn't look too oversized. So
no, it's so cute. So do you do photo shoots a lot, like just because you want to, or like you have an idea?
Yes. So through this industry, I've made friends with a lot of phenomenal photographers. And so a lot of the times, if I have some creative idea pop into my head, or if they have a creative idea pop into their head, I'll be like, hey, let's get together and let's bring this to life. So I definitely, I definitely, it's great to use them as well, because they're also expanding their portfolios. However, with my content creation side of things, I am also my own photographer. And so that kind of,
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
yes, yeah. And I did that because it keeps the costs down for the brands that I collaborate with, because a lot of times if you work with a content creator, that creator will hire a photographer to shoot the content for them. And so to be able to keep the costs down for the brands that I work with, I went out, I bought a DSLR camera, and I took some photography courses and kind of learned how to do professional photography so that they don't have to pay that extra expense through me to hire a photographer. I just self-shoot all of the content.
That is so stinking smart.
Yes, yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But hey, if you do go to the NFR, let me know.
Absolutely.
We can take pictures together.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a big picture girl. I love it.
Yes, you'll be my first call.
Oh, perfect. So you manage social media professionally while building your own brand. How do you keep your personal voice authentic?
So I feel like it's hard, but also easy, because I just try to remember my why and what I'm doing. And I always try to, at the end of the day, stick to sharing what I'm passionate about. And so in that aspect, it's really easy. You know, I'm passionate about the Western industry, I'm passionate about the outdoor industry. And so just showcasing those through time. Of course, it's sometimes fun to hop on the trends. You know, that'll always be fun to hop on something that's trending. But just really keeping in the back of my mind always my why and sharing the things that I'm passionate about.
So talk to me a little bit more about like the managing social media. Do you have accounts that you work for, or is it just you? How'd you kind of start that?
Yes. So as of now, I'm a freelancer contractor. And I didn't necessarily start out that way. I actually started out in the corporate world doing social media management. And then through that led to different opportunities. I've worked at the agency level before for an agency, helping them manage their accounts. And then now I work at the contractor level. So it's been really cool to see those different atmospheres and work at all of those different levels. I definitely think it's made me into a more well-rounded marketer.
I was gonna say, and like just help with like your social media and all the things. I think that's so cool.
Yes.
So you've been a highlight for being a published. Oh wait, I read that wrong. My bad. What's been a highlight from being a published model?
Modeling is just such an interesting industry, because I feel like on the outside, everyone's like, oh, it's so easy to just hop in front of a camera and strike a pose.
But it's really not.
It's really not. And it's
kind of hard, actually.
It is hard. And that is a misconception that I had before I got into the industry. Sorry, there's a hair in my eyeball.
You're good. We can cut that out.
Yeah. That is a misconception that I had before I started in it. I was like, how hard can it be to stand in front of a camera and smile or whatever? Yeah. But it is hard. And it's something that you have to practice at. And sometimes it doesn't come naturally. Like I had to do a lot of work on myself and a lot of research. I would stay up at night researching different poses. I would practice in front of the mirror to figure out like, okay, what facial expressions look good on me, what don't, what body angles work for me and what don't. So there's actually a lot that goes into it. And I definitely feel like I've had a whole new appreciation for modeling since I've started modeling.
Yeah. And I mean, sometimes it can be hard too to look back at yourself because naturally as human beings, we're going to want to nitpick ourselves and pull apart like what we think is wrong with us, and that can be something that's really hard to get over too.
Definitely.
And people don't, put that into like their perspective. They're like, "Oh, you're pretty, you model. It's easy."
Right.
It's not that easy.
Yeah, and I've definitely come a long way as well. There's definitely photos and photo shoots that I look back at where I cringe. I'm like, what was I doing?
Yeah. Can you tell me or like touch on maybe like one of your favorite shoots that you've done?
I honestly, anything with horses. I've done some shoots in the past with horses, and those are some of my favorites. I did one with in my wedding dress with a horse, and those are some of my favorite shots to this day. They're just so dreamy, and I feel like obviously having the horses just really encapsulates the Western lifestyle as a whole. So
y'all have horses, I'm guessing.
We don't.
Oh, don't.
I would love. I grew up showing horses, and someday I'd love to have like a retired working horse to just like come live out his days in our pasture. But hopefully that's something down the road. We don't.
I was gonna say you're young. You can make it happen.
Exactly. Right now I'm good with the cows, and maybe one day we'll have some horses.
Yeah. So touching like base back to your wedding, you had mentioned that those are your wedding boots.
Yes.
In that photo shoot, are you wearing these same boots?
Yes. Yep. I'm wearing these. I wear these so much. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I need to like be careful because they're my wedding boots and I want to preserve them. But at the same time, they're just so versatile and they go with everything. And I'd also, same thing with my wedding dress. I've used it in a shoot or two after my wedding because
that's cool.
I'm like, well, I want to preserve it. I'm like, I paid a lot of money.
So much money.
I paid a lot of money for this dress. Like, I don't want to just wear it once. And if I can get a few more uses out of it for something that I love to do, which is modeling and photography, like I'm going to go ahead and use it. I'll be very careful with it.
I'll be very careful, but I mean, yeah, because everyone's like, well, you only wear your wedding dress once.
Right.
Technically, you don't have to.
Right, exactly. And it's lacy and Western, so it can fit in well with photo shoots that I've found. So
that's genius.
Yes.
I'm going to have to steal that idea from you.
Absolutely.
If I ever get married, we'll see if that happens. So when you look back at your growth, what's one lesson you'd tell your younger self starting out throughout anything, like with the social media or with the modeling or anything?
Definitely. I think the biggest thing that I would tell my younger self is it's okay not to be invited to all of the events. It's okay if you don't get to work with every brand that you've reached out to. You can still be successful in the industry without going to all the events, without working with all of the hottest brands. I think being comfortable with rejection is something that I would tell my younger self. And I definitely think I've grown a lot in that aspect.
Yeah. Okay, so what would you tell someone who is your age or maybe a close friend or family member that is trying to get their foot into the door doing something that you do?
Yes. Okay, I love that question. I would say the two biggest things are one, and this is so cliche, but it's true. Just jump into it. And I say that because don't worry about what other people think of you. And again, I know so many people have said this, just jump into it, like block out the haters. But it's true. Like if you want to be successful, you really have to learn to not care about what other people are going to think of you.
Yeah.
Who cares if it's cringy? Like if you love it and if you really want to be successful, who cares?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's cringy, if it's not. I'm sure there'll be times where you look back and you're like, ooh, I was cringy. Like,
I mean, I do that to myself in high school, but like,
exactly,
everyone's cringy at some point in their life.
It's human nature. We're all going to have cringe moments.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't dictate what you do moving forward. And so that is the first part that I would say. And then the second part, I kind of already touched on that you have to be comfortable with rejection because rejection is a part of this world. There's no way around it. Everyone feels rejected at one point or another, and that's okay. That doesn't mean you're a failure. That doesn't mean that you won't still prosper, but it is just a fact of life. And I would say the sooner that you can become okay with rejection, then that's really when you're going to start to prosper and flourish in the industry.
Yeah, that's amazing. I was kind of asking, or I asked you that question because I just genuinely wanted to know, because I've always thought like really going hard into social media, but I just never have.
Yeah.
So definitely. I was kind of asking that question for me, not going to lie.
Yeah. Awesome.
So where do you see the Camo Cowgirl heading in the next few years?
I would really just like to continue growing is my biggest thing. I want to continue to grow my brand, and I also want to continue to educate and be a resource for people. I've had a lot of women in particular reach out to me and just ask me different questions, whether it's about being a content creator or even as simple as, hey, what kind of hunting boots do you wear? Or what do you think about this issue in the Western or the outdoor industry? And so I want to continue to be a resource for people and to advocate for the industries that I'm passionate about. And then selfishly just continue to grow my brand as well.
Yeah. What advice would you give women who want to step into the Western fashion or outdoor spaces but don't know where to start at all?
I would definitely say do your research beforehand, really get to know the industries that you want to become a part of. And then don't be afraid to ask questions. I mean, that's how you learn is
grow, yeah.
Yeah, that's how you learn and grow is asking questions, and don't be afraid to. I know that there's so many women in the industry, both industries, that I reached out to when I was getting started because I didn't know about certain things. And so you have to ask questions to be able to grow. And you'll find that for the most part, people are very willing to help. Obviously, not everyone, but for the most part, people are very willing to help you where they can.
Yeah.
And I know I as well, girls have asked me questions that I'm happy to answer. And that's how I got to where I am, was by asking questions and having people be kind enough to humor me, even if I thought the questions were silly, you know. So definitely ask questions, be teachable, and be willing to accept mistakes. Not everything you post or not everything you create is going to be a home run, and that's okay. Learn from those mistakes.
Yeah, that was like kind of my next question. Do you get those random DMs on Instagram of girls, who look up to you and have been following you for a while, asking you for advice like that?
Yes, absolutely. Even when it comes to the NFR or WESA or how to reach out to brands, I have a lot of girls that, ask me, how do you get started? Like reaching out to brands, how do you pitch yourself? So yes, I've definitely had girls ask me that, and I'm more than willing to tell them maybe not what's right or what's going to get them the best results, but what I've done and the results that I've had from that.
Yeah. Well, Em, is there anything else that you want to touch on or ask me or just, say about yourself?
Ooh, that's a good question. Hold on, I'm gonna think about that real quick.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I have one. Okay. I would love to know, how did you kind of get involved with Western fashion? Is that something that you've always been passionate about, or is that something you've recently come into?
Yeah, so I grew up, in the middle of nowhere in a small town, going to rodeos and stuff like that. But I'm not going to lie, my fashion sense has always been back and forth.
Gotcha.
I really, really got into it, I would say, in high school. Growing up, middle school and stuff, I would wear boots and jean shorts and do all the things. But
Love it.
My passion for Western fashion really got started, if we're being so honest, whenever I was old enough to start going to the stockyards. And then from there, I went to Texas Tech, and I wanted to, kind of just throw my personal sense of style into the way I dress Western. I've always loved boots, and I've always kind of been on the edger of a Western side. But whenever someone looks at me and is like, you look so cute, I've never seen something like that before, I just fall even more in love with it. And I was telling you prior how I was a fashion design major at Texas Tech.
Yes.
And that really sparked me too, because nobody was designing Western fashion lines, and nobody was, even thinking about that side of things.
Sure.
And so I really put my love for Western everything into, whatever, what I was designing at Tech. And yeah, so growing up, I've always it's kind of been there, but, the older I've gotten, and I guess the more I've been able to see and talk to people like you, the more I fall in love with it and the more ideas come to my head. And so, yeah.
I love that. I love that you were kind of able to like fill that gap in the market, if you will, at Tech where no one was designing Western fashion.
Yeah, it was very rare. And I was telling you too, we had to do a lot of projects. And I mean, that's what it was for the whole 5 years I was there, was hands-on projects, just designing stuff, whether it was in person or on a computer. And we always had to present what we were doing to all of our classmates or our professors. And that's whenever I really started to notice it. And I was like, everyone knows where I'm from. So I need to really be different and stand out and do something that not everyone else is doing. And I love it. Yeah. So, and I was like, I actually really want to make this so I can wear it.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great reason.
Yeah. And, here I am now.
Right. So, yeah. Love it.
Yeah. So, lastly, where can people follow along with you and what you're doing?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook are kind of the biggest ones. And my handle is just at @the.camo.cowgirl.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, Em, again, thank you so much for coming down here and sitting down and talking with me. I really enjoyed getting to know you, and I'm sure everybody else did too. And yeah, I really wish you the best of luck in the future.
Thank you so much. I had so much fun being here.
Well, that is a wrap on today's episode. Thank you so much again for coming in and being such an amazing co-host with us. I absolutely loved getting to talk with you and hear your story and learn a little bit more about how you grew your brand. The Cowgirl Closet podcast is a worldwide ranch production brought to you in part by Mule Alley. You can explore Mule Alley's curated collection of tastemakers, artisans, and trailblazers from anywhere. Simply download the free Fort Worth Stockyards app at the App Store or Google Play. Once again, I want to say a huge thank you to AB Lino. We could not have done this episode without our friends here at AB Lino, who let us film in their beautiful custom clothing boutique in downtown Fort Worth. And thank you to Fort Worth Camera for helping us solve all of our lighting needs. Once again, this has been an amazing episode, and I will see you next week where the ranch meets the runway.